Hello and welcome to all you Leos. This is your monthly horoscope for Leo for May of 2021. Now, a very eventful month in general, but for Leos, it's not in key areas of their life. Of course, this is for the collective, for all the Leos. These are general horoscopes. Keep that in mind, of course, not tailor-made videos. But there's a lot happening, and for you actually specifically the eclipse is quite positive for you because it's in a fellow fire sign. So it's in Sagittarius, and that goes very well with your energy of Leo. So I'll talk about the eclipse, I'll talk about Jupiter in a new sign, Venus and Mercury in Gemini, which is also nice for you. That energy also goes well with you. And then Mars in Cancer. That's a bit more tricky. I'll get to that in a minute. Now, first of all, the eclipse is happening on the 26th. It is a total lunar eclipse with the moon at 5 degrees of Sagittarius. So people who've got Leo planets around 5 degrees, with the sun there or the moon or the ascendant, will feel it the most. And what does this mean? It is in your 5th house, and this is your Leo house. And the moon there with the south node is about letting go of something, and it's in opposition because it's a full moon, lunar eclipse, in opposition to your 11th house, where a lot of activity is going on with the north node, where you need to go. Now, this eclipse cycle belongs to the Saros family 5 North, and this is all about the visionary and the person that has an inner knowing and acts upon it. So it's not just knowing things, but also acting already so that you get into the perfect alignment to go towards where you need to go. And as I said, this is now the 26th of the month, but you feel it the whole month. You feel it even if you are watching this in April and even after that. And what is this all about? So this is about knowing something deep down inside and acting on it. And this knowing has to do with the 5th house. It's about letting go of old paradigms that have to do with the 5th house, which is, first of all, love. It's what you think what love is, and maybe an old paradigm that needs to go. It can be a person as well. Of course, don't panic and don't think, oh, my love is gonna go. Or there is old paradigms, old people that are no longer serving you, and you know it deep down inside. This is not something that I'm saying to you and that you say, oh, no, you know it, that certain paradigms, certain people are just not, it's just not working out on a love level. It could also be children, that one child of yours is just going through that phase where they go towards an ending and a new beginning. And it can also mean some sort of a project that you've been investing a lot, and now you kind of see it's the end cycle and it's done. It's not there anymore. Or a hobby that you've been doing years and years, it's clear like there's something that needs to go here. But I think for a lot of you, this has to do with what your attitude is towards love, because this is a heart chakra and it's the attitude. So for instance, let's say you always had an attitude when it comes to love that you have to work hard for it, that you have to work hard to deserve love. Maybe all of a sudden around that 26th of the month, you realize this is not true. I don't have to work hard for love. It has to come. I have to be open for it. And it's there, or it's not there. I am who I am. And it's not like that I need to work so hard to get like crumbs. For instance, it could be a totally different thing. It could mean that maybe you are in a bit with rose tinted glasses on and you think you don't have to do anything to achieve a project. You just, oh yeah. And your attitude shifts because you realize it. So there's a lot of wake-up calls there. And also when it comes into the life of a child, for instance, that child comes to a realization of like, look, I have to do things differently here. So where you need to go is the 11th house, which is your goals for the future. It's a very good time to think about the future for you. A very good time to make new plans, make new friends, or old friends, reconnect with them. Because at the end of the month, Mercury will go retrograde in your 11th house. Mercury is there for the whole month with Venus. So these are very positive planets. Also the Sun, of course, will be there. So very positive planets in that 11th house, which is joyful energy, witty energy, energy that has to do with laughter, that has to do with enjoyment, that has to do with doing nice things with friends, talking with them, Gemini, planning with them, talking about your plans. Maybe for some of you, falling in love with a friend as well, because of the Venus is there and also Mercury going backwards. So it could mean that you see someone in a different light, or yes, you understand them better. It's very positive energy for you. It's a very nice energy in general for the Leos. And then, so make sure that you work on some plans for the future, that you work, and you will have the time for 2 months now. When working, Mercury in the 11th house represents a lot of activity on a social level. I know, sounds weird, but it is what it is. You could be really communicating a lot with people during this month. Now, another thing that is going on is Jupiter shifts every year in a new sign, and it does it now on the 14th, entering in its own sign. It's the ancient ruler of Pisces, and that is your 8th house. Now, this is different. This is like a benefic coming into an area of your life that is not so easy. And when that happens, it's like this gentle energy. It's like this behind the surface, you feel supported, so to speak. Now, Jupiter in the 8th house is about, Jupiter is the planet of meaningfulness, and the 8th house is the house of transformation. It's also a money house of other people. So when you, for instance, want to do investments, Jupiter in the 8th house is a good indication to do so. Certainly when it's in its own sign. You know, buying things with a partner, for instance, very buying property or investing, very good time. And this happens in May, June, and July. And then it goes backwards in your 7th house. But May, June, and July can be a very good time to start with these things. And then in 2022, it's for the whole year in Pisces. So it's like a sneak preview. You could say that you have a possibility of attracting more money, attracting a good time for loans. Again, these are general things, okay? So if you really want to know, it's better to get a personal reading. But anyway, so in general, it's positive, attracting money for investments. On a bit more deeper level, it's about more intimacy. It's about it's about healing. It's about psychological understanding, interest in the metaphysical side of life, and learning a lot about that. It's like expansive. It's battling your fears, so to speak, but in a gentle way, not in a harsh way. Not that you really have to overcome and battle, but it goes quite smoothly. That's Jupiter in your 8th house. So that's also very positive energy. Now, the eclipse that I talked about on the 26th has Mars in a trine with Neptune. So again, around the eclipse time, when I talked about that, and when I talked about the objectives, go with the flow a little bit. But there's also Venus and Mercury squaring Neptune. So be with the feet on the ground when it comes to relationships. Okay, so definitely keep the feet on the ground. That's the best advice. And then last but not least, Cancer is for the whole month, or Mars is for the whole month in the sign of Cancer. That is the 12th house. The only tricky thing here is that you can be a bit more restless. You can find a little bit more, it's not so easy to relax with Mars in the 12th house because you are preparing yourself. Mars is a planet of doing. In Cancer, it's quite emotional, and in the 12th house, it's the house of rest. It's the house of reloading your batteries, and so if you've got some nights, you know, sleepless nights, it is better just to surrender than to trying to do everything that you can to in order for you to get to sleep. You know, in there's a lot of power in just accepting it. And you know, this is a transit that will fade away, you know, next month. You're all done, and Mars will be in your sign, which is gonna give you a lot of power and a lot of new energy and strength. So being a bit more tired could be on an energetic level, could definitely be the case with Mars in your 12th house. But again, this is just temporary, and it's a fact of your blind spot could be that you're a bit self-destructive, you know, you're putting yourself down. That's the very negative side of Mars in the 12th house, or undermining your oneself. So keep in mind that when you're doing that, that's already one thing, so you can shift your focus. Having said that, I think it's a very interesting month for you. Thank you so much for watching, and have a very good month. Bye-bye.